Hello everyone, this is Johannes.
And this is Sunniva.
And you are watching Board Gaming Ramblings.
And it's time for the top 20 games of 2023.
Yes, it's my favorite time of the year. In this video, which you probably already know, we are giving you our top 20 to 11 games of the year because there's so many good games this year.
Yes.
And then on Wednesday, you are getting the top 10 of 2023. But that's not all. Because we have 2 weeks of end of the year content planned for you, and this is like my favorite time of the year.
Yes.
I love this so much. Like the end of the year, we have played so many great games, and we are gonna talk to you about all of them. So today is the top 20 to 11, then Wednesday it's the top 10, then on Friday we are doing something we have never done before. You're not gonna be in the studio.
No.
Instead, we're gonna have a guest.
That's going to be so weird.
Yeah, that's going to be
someone else sitting in this chair.
Yeah, it's going to be Martin from In Bed with Martin from the vlogs from Spiel. If you haven't seen that, go and check that out. He's doing his top 10 new games from the year. So he's not going to do only top 10, so then only 2023, but the top 10 games that he played that was new to him this year.
Cool.
And then next week, sorry for all this, we're so excited about all this content, so we have to tell you about it. Next week, we are doing like we did last year, but it's going to be way crazier this year. We are ranking every single game that we played from 2023. Last year, we ended up playing like 86 games.
Yes.
This year, we have played nearly 150. That means we're going to rank around 130 games each in that other episode. That's going to be a crazy one. And then on Wednesday, and this is something I'm truly excited about, we are next Wednesday, that is, we are bringing back the Rambling Awards because we had that 2 years ago with many great guests, and we're going to do that again this year. I cannot wait for that. And then we're going to end the year on Friday the 29th of December doing a live Ramblings of the Year episode, which is going to go through how the channel went this year, the stats of our gameplays, or our plans for next year, and we're going to do a Q&A as well. So if you want to end the year with us, that would be amazing, and we will see you there. That's 2 weeks of amazing content. I cannot wait to share all of that with you. But today we are doing the top 20 to 11 board games of 2023. I'm just gonna briefly say I think this year was great for games.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I do this every year. I'm thinking like, oh, it's gonna be easy to make a top list, and then I remember all the games that we played before Spiel that I've kind of forgotten about because all of the new games. And this year as well was really hard, and we have played a lot of good games. Yeah,
I was ranking like all the games. You're gonna see that list, and there's not many games I would say are bad.
No.
There are a few, but we're trying to steer clear of the bad games because we want to have fun while we play games.
Yeah.
Why else play games? But I think that's enough of ramblings. We're going to ramble more, but now we're going to ramble about the things that you want to see.
Ramble about the games.
Yeah, so we're going to start at number 20, and I think as always you're going to have to be the beginner.
Yes.
The books are back in town.
The books are back.
And we're going to see what our number 20 is, and we will begin. Okay, you can start because that's how it works.
Yes, my number 20 is a game that we have played recently.
Okay.
And it's Scholars of the South Tigris.
Okay, cool.
And I really like that one, actually. That's why it's the top 20.
The obvious, these are gonna come, like the obvious ones. Oh!
Yeah?
We have to guess.
Oh yeah!
The number of crossovers.
Okay, so you got like 1.
Yes.
So I know
if that's on my... Yeah, I know. So I'm gonna guess 0 crossovers. I'm not. That would be weird.
Yeah.
This is for the whole top 20.
Okay, okay, the whole top 20?
Yes.
I think, let's see, we're always doing this, we just forgot this year.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're gonna get a lot of crossovers.
I'm just gonna guess, like I'm not gonna look at my list.
15.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, like because our game tastes aligns quite a bit.
Yeah.
Even though we might not have everything. Usually if you are used to following our channel, then you know that the closer to the top, the more aligned we usually are.
Yeah.
We will see this year, but I think we're gonna go, I think you might have these as well, so I think I'm gonna go 15 as well.
Okay.
That's boring, so I'm gonna go
16 or 14.
one higher, 16 to
16.
make it super exciting. Okay, back to your number 20.
Back
Sorry.
to my number 20.
Number 20.
Scholars of the South Tigris, I thought it had a lot of unique things about it.
Yep.
I love the interaction with the other players and also the different playstyles you can adopt in this game, with trying to focus heavy on some parts of the game. And I think that they are really good at Garfield games are great at borrowing from the previous games.
And we're gonna do one thing. This is now you're gonna get the meeting between us while we make the video, because some people have said because we don't know each other's list.
Yeah.
And that's a huge part for us.
Yeah.
Because that is something that is super fun.
Yeah,
so,
I kind of forgot to mention that too. We are rusty.
No, but we're rambling. That's the deal of the channel.
That's a trademark.
And I think that some people are saying oh, you should say oh, that's higher on my list and stuff like that. I don't want to do that.
No.
But what we can try to do is to also talk about the game when it's on our list, if we have it on our list.
Yeah.
Because some people are saying it kind of get weird at the end because we just skip things because we have already spoken about them.
Yeah.
But so we're gonna try to, when you speak about your game, you're gonna speak about your game, and when I come to my number something, I'm gonna speak about that.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So my number 20 is gonna be, if you're done.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna say anything about that game. My number 20 is gonna be Planta Nubo, a fun little game. It's not that little. From very nice designers. It's from Ode, Andreas Odendahl, and Mike Keller, and Uwe Rosenberg, which is a nice trifecta. It's a triforce of new game designers, which made Planta Nubo. Planta Nubo is a great game. It did not end up being a top of the Uwe Rosenberg games list. So it's not one that it's one that I need to play more, but it's still gonna be my number 20. I enjoyed the puzzle of it. I always enjoyed puzzling in games and placing these flower beds. We only got to play it with 2. And I would have liked to play it with more, because I think the action selection is gonna be less restricting when you play it with more, because you're gonna have more options. For example, the 2 players, when I choose something, then that color flower bed you cannot get.
Yeah.
So with more players, it's going to have more options, so you're not going to be that blocked off. And I think that it's a game I might like even better with more people, but it's still going to be my number 20. We did a playthrough, I think, of it. Did we do a playthrough?
Oh, I don't remember.
Or did we just do a review?
I
don't remember. You can check out the video we did for that. But one that I really enjoyed and I would like to play again. My number 20, Planta Nubo.
Oh, I've forgotten what my number 19 is.
It's time.
My number 19, we haven't played this in a long while.
We haven't played this.
We haven't played this, but I'm just guessing it's that good. No, this is one of the games that we got before Spiel.
Yes.
And I really liked it, obviously. It's Shogun no Katana. It's a really nice worker placement puzzle. With creating the katanas for the Shogun. And it has a really unique puzzle with moving the katanas that you want to create through this grid and making it not collide with the other things that you're making by placing the needed resources on it. And the reason that it isn't higher on this list, it's still pretty high, but it takes a lot of time. It's a so long game because of the puzzle, makes your brain melt a little, but it's really, really good.
My number 19 is then gonna be Mother of Frankenstein.
Cool.
This is it's a board game, so I'm gonna, because it's released by a board game publisher, Arcane Wonders, so I'm gonna include it here, but it really feels like it's board game adjacent. It's more of a puzzle experience, but it's one that it was one of my best gaming, it's a game, so it was one of my best gaming experience of the year. It was 3 volumes, we played it for about 20 hours, so much fun to be had. If you enjoy hard puzzles and you like doing fun stuff, I'm not going to talk to you about it. If you want to have small spoilers about it, we did talk about it a bit more in the escape room video we just recently did last week. But it is one that is super good. I enjoyed myself a lot. The first box is, I think, my favorite puzzle solving experience of all time. And then the second and third also very good, but the first one was just top notch in puzzle solving. One that I highly recommend. And I think that if you like puzzles, you will like it.
My number 18 is going to be our first crossover. So it's Planta Nubo. So now I can finally speak about it, and we can have our little crossover dance. I also really like Planta Nubo.
Crossover.
A crossover. Over here. Crossover here. No. So I really like it. I think that it's cool that you have these different, not types of workers, because they're just doing the thing, but that the order that
they're doing the thing,
or just doing the
and also the worker are actually tools.
They're tools, yeah. But you also are restricting other players from doing potential actions, and also what worker you don't place also have something to say about what you're getting, which I thought was really unique. So a great game.
Yeah, and it's one that it might be higher if we could have played with more people.
Yes.
So it's one that is on the list to try to play with more people. And my number 18 is gonna be another crossover.
Okay, cool.
What can it be? There's been so many games to choose from. What can it be? It's gonna be Shogun no Katana.
Cool.
So first, crossover.
There's going to be a lot of dancing in this video.
People are coming here for the games and for the dancing.
Yes.
Because they feel like, oh, it's almost kind of like watching Dancing with the Stars, because it's so good.
It's so high quality.
The dancing is like, we choreographed it. We worked on the choreography for like years to make it this good. But Shogun no Katana, I love it. I love the game. I think that, as you said, the biggest negative is the time period it takes to play. I think like with 4 people, it took like 4 hours. We played with a slow player, so maybe like gonna be 3 hours if we played with 4 players, and that's a long game. But like that puzzle of moving these katanas around, and they're in these rows, and you know exactly where they're going to move. So when you grab it from the board, you know exactly the movement it's going to take. You know where it's going to end, which then going to tell you which bonuses it's going to get, and you can upgrade those bonuses. It has this very nice worker placement mechanism with these normal workers, and you also can pay for the special workers. So you're working so hard to get this money, depending on the strategy you have, because some strategies you're going to have loads of money, and some strategies you're going to work very hard to get that one monk, I think they are, to place somewhere. And then there's this expansion that is super cool with these little characters that you can move around, and you will meet them and they will give you some small benefits, and the game is just super good. It's I will say like it's a medium heavy game.
Yeah.
Super good, one that I'm very happy that we have and that I would love to play more. Shogun no Katana makes me happy. It's just a tad too long.
Yeah, my number 17 is a 2-player game by Yuri Rosenberg, and it's Oranienburger Kanal. And I really enjoy this game, like more than I thought I would do, because this is a little... It's still very classic Yuri Rosenberg, but it's not like farming and feeding your workers and the things that you normally do. But I think that this is a really... simple puzzle, but it also has a lot of meat in it. So you have these worker places, but you only have, I think, 2 workers or 3. I kind of forgot right now. You have few workers, and you want to activate the cards that you're placing, and you're trying to like there's so many unique cards. You're trying to do what is best for your strategy, and trying to activate like 2 at the same time with these bridges, and also trying to frame the cards with these different kind of
the canals and the roads,
and the boats and not the boats, but
and to frame them with the boats. Yes, I like the game. I'm not allowed to say.
You're not allowed to say it. Maybe you hate it. We'll never know. Or maybe
my number 17 is a party game.
Cool.
It's a very small game. It's called How Dare You.
Nice.
And this is just pure fun. And just so you know, we know the publisher, but that's not why it's here, obviously, because it's a good game. I don't care who I know, I just want to play good games.
I don't care who I know.
But this is a super fun game. It's so simple. It's a quiz game. It's basically there's 600 quiz questions, and all of them are answered with a number. It's just pure fun. Like it's about like it's kind of a bidding game. You are saying like your answer, and then the next person has to either say a higher answer or try to bust you by saying they thought you had the higher answer. So it's kind of like liar's dice, but with cards and questions. And there is like a point system, we noted points, but that's not the point of the game. You're just trying to have fun. You're just laughing all the time because and also you learn these weird quirky facts that when you are trying to you say something and somebody is like, oh, now that's way too high, and actually that one you kind of know, and you know you are way low actually, and you get this, and they go like, wow, we didn't know that. So it's a great fun, and I'm not a trivia fan, trivia game fan, but I really like this game, and that's why it's on my list.
Cool. My number 16 is another kind of party game. It's hard to get. And this was...
Did you get it?
No, we got it the Spiel
Yes.
at the recommendation from Blue Peg Pink Bag. And this is kind of the perfect match between Codenames and Similo. If you haven't heard about Similo, that's another great game, but
yes.
not from this year. But this is a game where you're having one like clue giver, and they're going to give you clues about one of the cards with many different words, like in Codenames. But you can only like give clues about like, is it buttony or zippery?
Is it more buttons or zippers?
Yes. Yeah. Is it hard or soft? Is it small or big, or like...
And those are the simple ones.
Yeah, those are simple ones. Or Tom Cruise or Tom Hanks,
yes.
for example, which is really, really fun.
Those are better examples, because small or big is not that hard.
Well,
it's like, is the bridge small or big?
Well, that depends on the bridge.
I don't think there's any small bridges in like the small case, but yeah, it's a really good game.
Yeah.
I really enjoy the. Again, it's one that you're just gonna end up laughing, but you're also gonna try to win. So it's more of a laughing. You laugh more than in Codenames. Codenames is more like serious business.
Yes. This is less serious business.
Yes. My number 16 is kind of another co-op party. No, it's not a party game. It's a co-op game, which really surprised me this year, called Perspectives. And this is one that I just read the description. We got an email from Asmodee like, do you want to play this game? And it looked nice, and we like these kind of deducting things. But most of the time we play those games with 2. Because that's our favorite player count for that. But with Perspectives, that wouldn't make any sense. We played it with 6 people. There's 3 cases in the game. We only played the first, which was really good. I want to keep the others for a time where it makes sense to play them, not just rush out to play them.
Yes.
Because there's 12 cards. And you are going to deal them out. So when there's 6 players, you're going to get 2 cards each. And you're not allowed to show each other the cards. You're only allowed to talk about what you see. So it's basically a game about talking for 1.5 hours. And there's like 4 acts in each of these cases. So you're going to talk about them. And then when you think you have the answers, you're going to try to answer like in Sherlock Holmes. It's kind of like the same game. But instead of reading aloud and moving around, you're just like having these cards. And I say, oh, I'm seeing this thing. And then somebody's going to say, oh, you see that because I have this thing here, and then we will in our brains put it together and make something work. And it was just like a super good experience, and I cannot wait to play it again. If you enjoy these kind of games and you are, I think from 4 and up, it's going to work really good. So I highly recommend it if you want to play a kind of deduction game that works very well with more people.
My number 15 is almost an exact crossover, because that is Perspectives. I also really enjoyed this game. It's almost perfect.
Look,
we have to come up with something awesome to do when it is actually perfect crossover.
I think we're doing a song then? Isn't
no,
that the kind?
You're doing a song.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
I think I'm doing the song.
But I also really love Perspectives, and I also agree that it really surprised me in what it was. And I think it's pretty unique that you have to be this amount of people. I'm always struggling sometimes to find groups, find games for big groups, and this was an amazing experience. And of course, it really requires people to make room for someone else that doesn't take up space for themselves. So it's really nice that you have some information that is only yours, and you know that the other players have to actually
they need it.
Yeah, they need it. So you don't get this alpha player just like takes charge of everything, because you have these things that only you know.
There can still be kind of a leader, like somebody's going to take the lead.
Yes.
But you are, as you said, like it's perfect for that, because you can't be the alpha player.
Yeah.
You can't say, I'm going to do everything because I only know a little thing. Okay, next up for me is going to be number 15 as well.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a game. Shocker, a game that I really like. It's going to be a game I like.
Okay, cool.
I enjoy this very much, to say like you usually say. This is a fun game. It is Nova Roma, a great game from Stan Kodonsky. It is a the grid. If you watch or review that, it's kind of like the big thing about this game is the grid, where you are placing your workers. There's many actions, and all of them are good. All of them are interesting, from less interesting to more interesting. But the grid is what makes this game good. So you are placing workers into a grid, and then you are getting to do the two actions that align with your worker. And if you kind of meet other workers of your color in the row and columns, then you're going to get more power in those actions. And also going to be like this big pawn is also going to be there, and if you meet him in those rows or columns, you're going to get bonus points for your action as well. And so that placement puzzle and blocking the other players, really great, worked really well in 2 players as well.
Yeah.
It's kind of even more brutal, I would say, in 2 players, because you're actively blocking the other player.
Yeah.
But a super fun game, which I really liked. Number 15, Nova Roma.
And we are so in sync because my number 14 is Nova Roma.
Oh, it's good that we're not Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, and it never gets, well, it gets a little old actually.
That joke? The NSYNC joke?
Yeah,
I know.
The NSYNC joke.
I just like it.
I also really enjoy Nova Roma. It is a very Euro game. You're collecting resources and you're turning them into points by like building or traveling or racing or collecting sets of different animal figures. I don't know.
That's kind of weird. I don't know where that comes from.
But it also is the interesting thing, as you said, is the grid.
The grid.
And I love the interaction there, and I think that is an amazing way to take an otherwise like action selection game or worker placement game and make it more unique. Yes.
Is this the 3rd time where you're like just won over me, or is this the second?
This is the second
time, yeah. Okay, so next up for me is going to be
Let's continue the trend.
14. I don't think so. Number 14 is going to be another huge surprise from this year, and this is one that could have been higher, and it's there's just been so many good games. That's kind of the reason that it's this low, which is still very high for 150 games. It's like in the top 10% of the games we played, and that is Keltay. Keltay is a super smooth, super quick rondel game, which is so good. You play it with 4 people in like 50 minutes, and there's so much fun gameplay going on. There's a rondel of 4 spaces. You are moving this little pawn 1 space, so you can move it like more for pay or for getting less bonuses. And then you're going to choose one of 2 actions where that pawn points to, and there's only, I think, 4 actions in the game, and all of them are very simple, but you are trying to make this kind of engine of your different workers, of different colors, trying to make it so that when you are doing the action that needs the red workers, you have red workers, and when doing the action with the blue workers, you have the blue workers, and so on, and you can permanently get workers to build up your strategy and trying to optimize the things you get to do during the time you're playing it. We did a playthrough of this as well with 2 people, so you can go and check it out. One I think was better with more than 2, but a super good game, great game that I think if you like shorter, meaty, punchy, lighter games, I think you will really like this one.
Yeah. My number, I don't know where we are yet. My number 13.
I think it's going to be 13, yeah, because you did 14 already, yeah.
Yes. My number 13 is Distilled, and it's been a long time since we played it. So let's see if I can remember anything. You have cards that you draft,
yes,
I think, and it's very thematic, I feel like, because you're making a brew. And when you're making it, you're like... You're
making spirits.
Spirits, sorry, yes. But you're brewing spirits. No, distilling it.
You're distilling it because the game is called Distilled.
The game is called Distilled.
Brew.
You're like placing all the ingredients that you want in your spirits and shuffling them together, and then you're removing like top and bottom cards, which is really thematic, I've heard. I'm not distilled with a lot of spirits myself. But then
I have exercised a few spirits, but I have not distilled them.
But then you see, like, if it's still the thing that you tried to make.
If it's distilled, the thing you want to make.
Yeah. So suddenly, if you're taking a risk and just like included the bare minimum of cards that you needed, you suddenly have an entirely different spirit suddenly. You can't say the word without thinking of ghosts.
Thinking about ghosts.
Yes. But then you want to like see, okay, if I add more of this, then I know that I get the thing that I need. But it's a very tight game. Like everything you really want a new like bottle or a new, what do you call it, the barrel or helpers this turn. But everything is expensive and everything takes like one of your actions and it's so tight. So if you want to like super maximize your spirit, you don't get to do the other fun stuff. So that's a really puzzly cool game.
Yeah, absolutely. My next one is gonna be another crossover.
Cool.
It's gonna be Oranienburger Canal. Just super good. We also got the Kickstarter with the expansion, so we have cards forever. We could play this so many times because like I think you're using there's A, B, C, D, and E decks, I think, in with the expansion, maybe even more, and you're only using like part of that deck to play the game, so you can play it so many times without seeing the same cards. And the cards are different enough to make the game feel different. You are building up different strategies. You are, as it's like it's a one or two player game. Maybe I'm gonna try to play it solo. I haven't. But you are building these cards. It's a spatial puzzle game with these cards, and as you said, you are building the canal. You also have like you're trying to have the canal and the exact the spaces you want them, the bridges, the roads, and everything just works so well together in a super clever game. It's not too long, 45 minutes to an hour, but just very crunchy. The rules are simple enough, but one that if you enjoy Uwe Rosenberg games, I think you will like this one a lot. That is Oranienburger Canal. I don't know why I'm saying it at the end because I just talked about the game and you probably haven't forgotten.
Now it's my number 12. Yes, my number 12 is Barcelona, and I can't really like fathom that this is the first time. Like this is a game from a first-time designer.
Yes,
because it's really solid, and it reminds me of a lot of other Euro games that I can see that he's borrowed from, maybe not intentionally, but it feels familiar at the same time that it is new. And this also is about placing, I don't remember what you're placing.
You're placing the workers in different colors.
Yes, and you're placing them in the intersection.
Yes.
So this reminds me of Nova Roma.
The
grid. But here also, it feels very tight because you want to do everything, but you have to kind of stick to some strategies and try to see if there's some of your strategies and you can score some final scoring for example. And just a really cool puzzle game, and all the things revolves around this city that is Barcelona.
Yes.
You're building roads, you're building, building towers, something.
I think the buildings, like people are living in them.
So everything affects then how the board will look later when you place new stuff.
Yeah, and Dan Garcia had 2 games this year. Arborea is the other one. And we spoke to him at Spiel, and I think he said, I'm pretty sure that he said, don't quote me on it, that Arborea was actually the first design. This was the second one. Just that they happened to be coming out like a bit before the other.
Cool.
And my number 12 then is going to be a game called Barcelona. So it's going to be a perfect crossover.
I don't think we're doing cool enough stuff.
Boom, perfect crossover time.
Yeah.
Barcelona is great. I really like it. I really enjoy, and what I really like that you didn't mention is the interaction of the game, which is so good, especially in 2 players. We try to block each other all the time, and not in a mean way, because you need these specific colored people, like the different. They have different colored the tokens, and you're trying to have them in specific spaces to be able to build the buildings there.
Yeah.
And then like when you build in a specific row for the first time, you're getting bonus points. And with 2 players, we try to block each other from doing these kind of things at all times. And it's interesting because you are doing something good for you, but then you might also open up a possibility for somebody else to build a building there. And it's just like super nice. It's not too long. We played it with 4 people 2 times in a row the same evening, which doesn't happen too often. And it's just a very clever and kind of a smooth, clean game that if you haven't played already, highly recommend that you do.
Yes.
That's number 12. It means that we are down to only one more game. One more game. So yeah, let's go. Number 11. Do you remember 11, it in your head?
Yes, I do, because it is a crossover and it is Kelty. And you also
No, you can't like stop being excited for a crossover dance already. Crossover dance, dun, 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 crossover dance.
I'm just seeing a lot of crossover dances in the next video. Also.
Yeah, but people came here for the crossover dances of this video.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I think it's fun that we have so many crossovers because there are so many cool games, and we like the cool games.
Yes, we like games.
And I also like Kale Day, and what I really think is cool is that when you think like, oh, now I've built myself a little up, I have these cards now that I can do cool things, somebody else is coming and doing the things that you want to do, and then you look at the timer because when the game is done is very player driven.
Yes.
And you see like, oh, the game is soon over, and all of the final scorings, because it's a little make your own scoring thing.
When your own kind of scoring.
You're placing like your marker on what you're going to get points for.
What you're gonna do when they come from you.
You want to do the things that you want to get points for. That makes sense. And
it does.
And it's so weird because it's a game that focuses on so small amounts of points, but like 1 or 2 or 3 points can like be the tipping point between like first and last place.
Yes.
It's a really cool game.
It is. I already had it on my list, and now it's my number 11, and that's gonna be a game called Nucleum, which is a fun game. I really like it. I think that it has some very clever things. People are comparing it to Bros and Barrage. I like both of those games a lot more than I like Nucleum, but I think Nucleum is a very good game. Bros is a top tier game for me, like one of the best games ever. And I also love Barrage. You don't, because I think it's too brutal.
Yes.
And Nucleum isn't that brutal. It has a very weird interaction that we talked about in our video about it, where you kind of have to understand how everything works. We felt like to be able to play the game good, but I really love the action selection. That's like my favorite part of the game, where you are placing these tiles with actions on them either in your kind of slots in your player board, which then lets you get more income when you reset, or you are losing them, playing them on the board to make routes, to make like connections, like in Bros, connections between cities, so that you can deliver things and energize and do all of the things that you're trying to do in the game. I enjoyed everything about the game, but the action selection, it was what made the game feel different and stand out from the rest of the games.
Yeah, I
for
agree.
me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna be the top of this list.
Yes.
Yes, so many good games. How many crossovers did we actually have for this one?
Let's see.
We had Planta Nubo.
Yes.
Shogun no Katana.
Yeah.
Perspectives.
Yeah.
Nova Roma.
Yeah.
Kelte.
Yeah.
Oranienburg Canal.
Yep.
Barcelona.
Yeah.
Was that it?
I think so.
You didn't have Mother of Frankenstein, How Dare You, or Nucleum.
Yes.
That means that we are on 7 already.
7 already. So if we're crossing over everything next time...
I'm happy I did 16. It's going to be interesting to see the top 10.
Yes.
I cannot wait, and you're going to see it in 2 days. If you enjoyed this and you got anything out from it, maybe a game recommendation, anything that you enjoyed it into it, then it would mean a lot to us if you wanted to give us a victory point.
And we get victory points when you click that subscribe button. You can also click the bell to get notifications every time we post a new video.
And this is going to be the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Johannes.
I'm Sunniva.
And you've been watching Board Gaming Ramblings, and bye-bye.